Hi, this is Alan Shea with Our Society Show, and we are here today to commemorate Geroge Floyd Foundation and the second remembrance of George Floyd. And we're here in Bel Air, and we have a great host of entertainers, celebrities, a wide range of athletes are going to be here today. So we're going to capture a full day of activities, so stay with us. Hi, we are so happy that you're here with us today in Bel Air, California for the first Geroge Floyd Foundation brunch. We are so excited because we're on the red carpet and we're bound to meet anybody. But first of all, I think we've already got a great gentleman next to me. He's actually the man of class. I call him the doctor because every time I see him, he is just really stepping out in fashion. Check out his outfit. And he knows all the right things to make an event exciting. So why don't you share with us what brings you out here tonight and why is this evening so exciting?
Great. Well, great to be here. Again, I'm Dr. Lance McCarthy. I'm the Senior Economic Advisor for the Geroge Floyd Foundation. We are here in Bel Air commemorating the second anniversary of George Floyd's death. We're talking about impact that we've done across the country, and we're celebrating partners like Dave Abel with the Ventees about how we can work together to make significant change in this country.
Wow. So before we get over to Dave, yes. The reason why I love Doc's because, with his economic background and certainly a person who can shed some history on George Floyd evolution and what it means to our society today, why don't you give us a real insight economically what George Floyd incident has done to really reshape our economic barriers that we were, prior to George Floyd, we couldn't even consider.
Yes, sir. Well, we know 2 years ago when it happened, George Floyd's daughter said that he's going to change the world. We know that across the country, particularly in urban America, there is a wide gap in poverty in the African American community. So our goal is to create a platform to assist individuals behind the walls and coming outside the walls with economic opportunity to make a significant change across this country.
And last but not least, before I let you go, because if we don't touch upon this, I think we would be remiss, because it also shed a big opening for law enforcement and also our judicial process. Why don't you add a little insight about that from your perspective?
Yeah, so we know that there is problems in the police department. There are some bad cops and some good cops. But we at the Geroge Floyd Foundation try to make sure we push safety. We work with law enforcement on the good side. And as well as I mentioned about Dave and his company, we're working with an organization that produces prison tablets to be able to provide inmates great information and great positive energy.
And you got me so excited. It's hard for me to just let you go, Doc. What would you share with the young people watching this new chapter in our media coverage? What would you share with them about what their possibilities are as a result of what the George Floyd Foundation will create going forward?
We like to tell every young person that hope is available. Everyone has a cell phone, and it used to be 6 degrees of separation, now it's 1 degree of connection. And so kids who are using tablets or using phones can connect and be able to empower themselves. Young entrepreneurs, we want to promote that. We want to promote if you had a bad experience in the past, you can change that and have a second chance.
Wow, well, you know what, Doc, anytime I'm around you, we were just together about, 4 weeks ago,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he got me excited because he's always giving me words of wisdom.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully he's imparted a lot of information on you folks today in honor of what George Floyd, I'm going to call it the incident, yes, brought forth to all of us. And I'm going to bring Dave in here so he can give us some insight from a business perspective and how this new tablet is going to work for us. So why don't you give us some background, Dave, as far as your history, how did you integrate that with the current law enforcement structure? Because I'm sure you had to get it them to accept it. And then last but not least, what is it, the real potential of this new device, because there's a lot of new technology that you're competing against.
I really appreciate it. And my name is Dave Abel, and I have the privilege of leading a company called Eventive that puts a smartphone tablet in the hands of incarcerated individuals. Dr. Lance McCarthy and the Geroge Floyd Foundation came to us a couple of months ago and said George Floyd moved to Minneapolis in order to be able to get a second chance. We want to, the Geroge Floyd Foundation wants to be able to speak directly to incarcerated individuals with a message of hope, with a message of inspiration, and to be able to provide content that enables people to get that second chance and make the most of that opportunity. We have the privilege of being the platform that enables them not to speak to one person at a time, not to one facility at a time, but by the end of the year this year, 650,000 people at a time, and eventually everybody who is incarcerated will be using one of our tablets to be able to interact, to be able to be inspired, to be able to be motivated, and to receive the fundamental human right of education.
So Dave, that's so beautiful. Why don't you share with us how are we going to execute and really implement that, not only through the county jurisdiction, but in the local as well, so that if that's going to be a part of the system as a whole, we got to figure out what's going to be the implementation of it.
It's a really good question, and as a company, we work very, very carefully with corrections officials, local sheriffs, county officials, and state departments of corrections to ensure that what we provide is safe and secure and will provide better outcomes from our system of incarceration. So we work very carefully with people on the law enforcement side, and very carefully with people who are in incarceration facilities today. As a company, we install the infrastructure, we pay for the tablets, and we put them in the hands of individuals in order to be able to give access to everybody from a content perspective.
Okay. And last but not least, before we let you go, really what is going to be the scalable effect so society will know how are we demonstrating the media power through public content, through private, how can they reach you, all the ways to really get this new, we're going to call it this new vision in place.
Well, our prisons today and our jails today are technology deserts. And what Dr. McCarthy teaches us on a regular basis is that economics are what matter. We will be successful when the communities where our tablets exist are creating the economic power of people coming home and being successful, making sure that they can be self-sustaining, sustain their families, and remain connected with their loved ones. So for us, the outcomes at the end of the day are the economics in the communities in which we have the opportunity to be able to work.
Okay, well listen to what Dave is sharing with us. And what we're going to do with you is make sure we're going to follow you, since this is a new technology, and we want to make sure it's one of the more prominent ones, because as you're aware, there's a lot of new, as I said before, from ShotSpotter and what they're alleging, and hopefully with your new technology, we'll really set a new standard. And what about the enforceability of the information that's being captured? Can you share that with the viewers before we let you go?
Because that's more about what you mean about the enforceability.
Well, if they're going to be having these devices in prison, okay, will the information that's received or obtained from these devices actually be used because they're in the jurisdiction of the courts, and whether or not the incarcerated really have a voice to execute that? Because we're going to probably run into some issues there, because whether their constitutional rights are preserved while they're incarcerated. So why don't you shed a little light on that so we can get ready for that chapter?
So it's a very good question, and we are very careful about the data that we manage, the data that we collect on behalf of our consumers and the corrections officials that actually own that information. So we never resell information. We never use that information for other commercial purposes. The protection of that information is absolutely essential to what we are trying to be able to execute as we go forward. Our prisons today and our jails today are technology deserts. The same tools that we all use to be successful need to be used with confidence, with safety, and with security for those that are incarcerated.
Wow. Well, you know what, Dave? I am looking so forward to this, because I love anything that will help clarify and bring about true accountability and transparency in our judicial and criminal system.
So demonstrators gathered here in LA tonight, trying to draw some concerns over that death, but it too quickly got out of hand. This is the scene tonight on the streets of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Hundreds of people rioting and looting, and police using tear gas for a second night following the death of a black man in police custody.
We're here with, I should say, the artist of tonight and an incredible songstress.
Thank you.
Not only is she a beautiful singer, she's a beautiful woman. And when you hear her, are we going to get a performance tonight?
We're
going to get a performance tonight. Yeah. So we're going to be excited so you can really see how incredible this incredible artist is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a quick interview from Mr. Craig Nobles, and he's going to give us a little background of the event today.
Okay. Well, this is the Geroge Floyd Foundation Memorial Brunch. Dr. Lance invited us to be a part of it, and I'm very, very, very happy to be, part of anything that Dr. Lance McCarthy does. And Cerelia is going to be singing, a song that was inspired by Geroge Floyd. So she wrote this song in one day, and you're going to be able to be blessed with this song today, and with the lovely Cerelia. And I'm so excited to be a part of this.
Well, we want to thank you for that intro so we can bring the songstress into an interview. And why don't you let us get in here?
I'll leave and get out your way.
Okay.
Oh, dear Lord.
So why don't you share with us how did you get inspired by the lyrics and how your creative juices was flowing to make it work?
Yeah, so actually this song, the idea came to me while we were in a car driving. But I have to admit that when the terrible incident that happened with Geroge Floyd, it impacted the world, and I was in South Korea at the time, right? So I had so many questions that were in my mind about this event, but at the end of the day, when I was writing this song, I wanted to say something that everyone would feel. Everyone can all come together and feel and realize that this is not just a one-off event. It's not just another number, we're all in this together. We're still here. So that's the title of the song, We're Still Here. And that's what I hope when the listener hears it, they achieve and they understand, yeah.
Well, good. Well, so has it been totally released, or is this going to be the premiere releasing of the song? Or give us some insight, and also let the viewers know how they can follow you and follow the song.
Right. So this is the first time I'm going to perform the song live. This is the official live performance of the song. And if you want to follow me, which you definitely should, you can check me out on Instagram and on Facebook and in YouTube and TikTok at The Cerelia. And you can just follow me there and let's connect with each other and share the love, be kind, and that's it.
Well, and I just would like to say congratulations. And I'm looking for a really beautiful, bright career for this incredible artist, singer.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And definitely a person who loves making sure everybody share Geroge Floyd.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
On suspicion of forgery. But at some point, he is taken to the ground while handcuffed. And for several minutes, an officer kneels on his neck as Mr. Floyd calls out that he's in pain and can't breathe.
Man, I can't breathe, my face. My stomach hurts. My neck hurts. Everything hurts.
Geroge Floyd died a short time later, and Tuesday, all four of the officers were fired.
Welcome to the stage, Ms. Floyd. I'm here. I am still here. The beautiful, the renowned Miss Cerelia. Give a round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. I'm so pleased to be here. I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful to be here amongst not only these beautiful people, but an international audience. When I saw what happened to Geroge Floyd, I was in South Korea and I felt enraged and I felt that energy all the way over there. So when I was given the opportunity, thank you Dr. Lance for it, it was easy for me to write these lyrics too because I felt it. So I hope you enjoy my contribution to this wonderful event today. Excuse me. There's nowhere left for me to go, and I can't breathe. Let's not pretend that things have always been crystal clear. 'Cause had my skin been shaded cooler, I'd still be here. Oh, I had someone that I loved, had a dream I wanted to follow. I had a baby and a home. Yeah, I wanted to see tomorrow. If you ever saw me down, or you thought that it was over, I'm saying, mama, look at me now. I'm still around, I'm still here. They didn't keep me down, I'm still here. So say my name out loud. I'm more than a number, more than a number, more than a number to you. I'm still here. The fight may be lost, but the war is ours now. But the war is ours now. Can y'all say that with me? But the war is ours now. War is ours now. Listen, we're more than just some hanging fruits or make-believe. We live to die, to shine a light on what you see. Forsaken by the angels flying with devil's wings. How many more of us to die before we live? Oh, I had someone that I loved. I had a dream I wanted to follow. I had a baby and a home. You know I wanted to see tomorrow. If you ever saw me down, or you thought that it was over, I'm saying, mama, look at me now. I'm still around, I'm still here. They couldn't keep me down, I'm still here. So say their names out loud. I'm more than a number, more than a number, more than a number to you. I'm still here. Say, the fight may be lost, but the war is ours now. But the war is ours now. One more time.
But the war is ours now.
One more time.
But the war is ours now.
Oh, I'm still here. I'm still here. Whoa, I'm more than a number, more than a number, more than a number. I'm still here. One more time. But the war is ours now. Thank you.
Fired. When you hear someone calling for help, you are supposed to help. This officer failed in the most basic human sense.
Floyd's family is asking that charges be filed against the officers.
They treated them worse than they treat animals, and I wouldn't treat animals like that. They took a life, now they deserve life. I don't feel sorry for them. They hurt me and they hurt my family.
I'm so excited. I got my brother Najee next to me, and who has been a true spirit in the awareness of George Floyd and his foundation. Why don't you share with us, what does this day mean for the foundation and for your support and really advocating this kind of event?
Well, it means everything. When George Floyd was tragically murdered, I flew to Minnesota immediately the next day to join the family. My mentors, Ben Crump, the family attorney, and Reverend Al Sharpton, and all the activists there, as we protested. I went to Minnesota 3 more times to make sure we got justice. So to have George Floyd's family come here and to kick off the foundation here means everything.
So why don't you share with the viewers what family members will be here today and what can we expect?
Well, I know I spoke to his cousin, Sharita, and I know she's on her way here right now, along with other family members. So I'm just excited to see them because anytime you go through what they went through, they need everyone's support. So I'm just grateful I was able to go there 4 times to Minnesota and have since become friends with many George Floyd family members.
Well, you know how much I love all the commitment and support you generated here in Southern California, you know, because we love our West Coast Al Sharpton here. So,
well, it's a compliment. I wouldn't be here had it not been for being mentored by Reverend Sharpton and my first mentor, Reverend Jesse Jackson. But I'm just grateful because those leaders were at the forefront in so many causes and helped me learn how to be at the forefront of causes and join causes such as George Floyd.
Well, thank you so much, Najee. Let's keep the fight up, man.
We will. We Trojans, we fight on.
What's the message you want to get out?
The message that I want to get out is that there is a huge difference in America between white Americans and black Americans. They are treated very differently, and although I do not want white Americans to experience what we have experienced from the police, I want the police to come to an agreement with us to give us the same opportunity to have the same protection from them that white Americans have. Latinos, we need the same protection for Latinos. We only want to be treated like people. That's it. Police brutality is out of control. When a black person gets abused by the police, it's like, okay, whatever, we have to riot. When a white person does something, I saw a white woman punch a police officer and they still kindly asked her to detain herself until she fell and tripped and then they zip tied her. But a black man jaywalking is gonna get pulled over and thrown to the ground. That's not okay.
Talk to me about tonight, though. When you see the damage all through the area, what do you make of that? And what is the purpose, I guess, of that? Tell me.
The damage tonight is necessary. You know why? Because this is how we feel every day walking down the street. We don't get to see the beautiful buildings that everybody else gets to see. We get to feel like we don't belong there. We get to feel like trash. We get to feel like garbage. We get to feel like we can't come here. But we came here today because we want to be a part of it. And if they don't want us to be a part of it, we want you to see what our reality is like. This is what we feel like when we walk down the streets. This is what it's like to walk down the streets and this chaos. I'm afraid every time a police officer drives past me. I have a clean record. I have never committed a crime. Law-abiding citizen. I have gone to college. Yet I get pulled over every time I'm driving my car because it's a 2020.
And what, playing devil's advocate, because there are those that are saying this won't change it, this doesn't answer it, we need to do something differently. Violence doesn't beget violence. What do you say to that?
I say that the police need to change because they forgot that they work for us. The police work for us. They work for the people. Since when do you get to go to work and tell your boss what to do? Since when do you get to go to work and tell your boss to get on the ground? When do you get to go into the office and kill him and then still keep your job? And everybody loves you.
Tell me about the curfew tonight. There's an 8 o'clock curfew. Are you planning on staying out, and what are you kind of sensing with that when you're out here tonight?
It's after 8 o'clock, and they absolutely issued the curfew because we were peacefully protesting. We were all kneeling. We were kneeling. We were not violating anything, and they started to throw smoke bombs at us. They shot rubber bullets. We caught a police officer lighting a car on fire.
We're here with Rex, and Rex, why don't you share with us how important is today establishing the first George Floyd brunch here in Los Angeles? It's certainly here in Bel Air.
Yeah, I think it's very important to shine the spotlight on kind of the social injustice, and I think bringing it out here to kind of Hollywood is really kind of raising the awareness for, you know, the social injustice and what George Floyd and the family represents.
So why don't you share with the viewers before we let you go, give them a little bit of your background and why you're here today to make sure this day is elevated and raise awareness.
Yeah, I mean, we work with the George Floyd Foundation as well as Equal Justice Now, as well as a lot. And we're here to support like Dr. Lance and some of the guys that are really part of the movement, right?
And what is your role as far as what do you do? Share with the viewers.
So we help raise awareness for the foundation for Rift Social and other types of causes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Floyd's family is asking that charges be filed against the officers.
They treated them worse than they treat animals, and I wouldn't treat animals like that. They took a life, now they deserve life. I don't feel sorry for them. They hurt me and they hurt my family.
Back here in Los Angeles, crowds eventually left the 101 and gradually thinned out on city streets, attempting to burn an American flag at one point, but no further violence.
And LA's Police Chief Michael Moore issued a statement tonight concerning what's happening in Minneapolis, saying in part that it doesn't just tarnish our badge, it tears at the very fabric of race relations in this country. Knowing that we have experienced our own high-profile incidents here in Los Angeles, I can assure you the LAPD strives each day to build trust, and these events are sobering reminders of how quickly that can be lost.
Bubba. Wow, we're here with Ken Hollow, the incredible, could I say artist, creator,
and producer.
I was leading up to that because the last time we were here, we actually got an incredible interview. What I'd like for you to share with the viewers, why don't you tell them, what does this event mean to you today and how do you feel about it?
Well, it means a lot to be able to see all of us together, but at the end of the day, like I was telling you prior, is that I wish there was not only always a tragic incident to actually, make us all go together. We need to be stronger and set ourselves with a strong foundation so that we can also enjoy moments, not with tragic memories.
So what would you like to share with all your followers on social media and the young people who are watching this? What would be your real insightful message that you like for them to take from this?
Well, I always tell to my kids, power is knowledge. So just get stronger and make sure that we set this path for you, so make it bigger.
Wow. Well, and coming from this incredible woman, follow her suggestion because she is just a power player here in Hollywood. And I think your next movie, when is that coming out?
Oh, I'm actually producing in visual effects like 6 right now. So you should have a few from Netflix and also some Sony Screen Gems, but you'll hear more about it.
And why don't you make sure the viewers know how to follow you?
Will do, at Ken Hollow.
Ken Hollow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, this is Alan, just signing off with you today. We want to thank you so much for joining us today on our Society show, commemorating George Floyd and his foundation here in Bel Air, California. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.